want to talk about transfers. Now, there was some news last week. Yeah, it was last week. There's been a lot of talk last week regarding Barcelona. So when it comes to Kyle, firstly, we're talking about. I guess you know what? I guess we can merge all three of them because it's probably all interlinked when you think about the money involved. Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan, Philippe Coutinho, obviously, Barcelona's player, and Tanguy Ndombele from Spurs. Now, all those three have been linked to either to Barcelona or linked with a move away from Barcelona. Starting with Martinez, we know he's got a release clause of about 100 million. Barca have actually made an offer for him. They've offered players in. They've offered players. They haven't. I don't think they've agreed a fee plus the player, but they've kind of tempted Inter Milan to say these are the players we want to offer in any exchange, and those players are Semedo and the guy's name's gone out of my head.
Titi.
Oh, was it Umtiti? No,
he was. That was Ndombele.
Is it Moreno?
Alena.
Yeah, that's the one. So there's those two players plus cash. We don't know what the cash amount is. What is your thoughts on that potential move from Barca's perspective, and also just in terms of it's how viable, how realistic that is?
From Barca's perspective, that'd be a magnificent sense that they get Martinez shipping off. I wouldn't say Deadwood. One is Deadwood. One is a squad player, but is can be sacrificed, which is Semedo. So if Inter were to, and like I said, his release clause is 100 million. Say they offer somewhere in the region of 35 to 40 plus the two players. I mean, probably need a hell of a lot more cash than that.
I was about to say, like, how much do them man are worth? I don't know.
But it would be a good deal. But I don't see Inter accepting that whatsoever. Like, they just signed Christian Eriksen. They don't need a central midfielder. They just signed two fullbacks, well, two right backs in Ashley Young and Victor Moses. So you're offering them players in positions that they don't need. If it was a player in a position that they're fulfilled in, but the quality is far better than what they have access to, for example, you offered them Philippe Coutinho for Martinez, that's a different something. That's a different ballgame altogether. They would look at that deal and say, you know what, we can make that run. Swap deal for Coutinho.
There is a player that Barca have who they want, which is Arthur, or Arthur, however you want to say his name. And they want him to be included, but Barca's kind of knocked that back. Would you be willing, if you were in charge at Barca, to include him?
The only way. No, I wouldn't entertain that because he is one of our better, if not our best central midfielder. The only way they should sanction them having Arthur for Martinez in a swap deal is if they get Ndombele. If they get Ndombele, then you can say, okay, he is now surplus to requirements because we got Ndombele. Now that's the only way, personally.
Well, but speaking of Ndombele, is that a player you want? Obviously, we've spoken about Ndombele on this podcast in the group chat. In terms of there's a lot of talk about in terms of whether or not he can really cut it at Spurs under Jose in the Premier League in terms of fitness issues. Would you want him at Barca with all those? I guess the cloud hanging over him, the talent's there, but there's still question marks about him. Would you want him at Barca?
I wouldn't. I mean, I don't rate him highly, massively. We all know that the Premier League is probably the most physically demanding league in the world. He can often be end-to-end stuff. The coaches and managers there, they demand a lot from their players. You've got managers that do a lot of pressing, a lot of running around the pitch, etc., etc. and he's obviously struggled to adapt to life in the Premier League. But obviously, over in Spain, and especially the way Barcelona play football, it would be more suited to him. He would be allowed to be a bit more relaxed, as long as, because I've seen some of the clips for that he does for Spurs in games. Like, for example, I can't remember who it was against, but Mourinho hauled him off at half time for an abysmal performance. He came off at half time, but they showed the reason why he came off. He wasn't tracking back. He was leaving holes open, but the time where he was on the ball, it was great. He was gliding past his man. His good pass accuracy. He was strong on the ball, but once he had released the ball, he didn't offer anything. Obviously to his level of fitness, etc., etc. But with the way Barcelona play, and they're trying to keep a high percentage of the football, he would suit Barcelona better than he does suit Spurs right now. But I've always said the player that I want in that position is Paul Pogba. I wouldn't accept no other player. It's Paul Pogba or nobody. That's literally it. Offer them Philippe Coutinho. If Pogba is pushing, saying I want out. This is it. That was my last year. I don't want to be here no more. Listen, Man United, Philippe Coutinho plus 30 mil. Here you go. Give us Pogba. Done deal. I'm happy. Everyone's happy.
Who's everyone? I don't want Coutinho. And even if you didn't have Bruno Fernandes, you might have an argument in terms of Coutinho. But Coutinho is not a central midfielder. He's very much an attacking midfielder, whether it's from the left or behind the striker. Whereas Pogba is a central midfielder who attacks. Bruno Fernandes is an attacking midfielder. Coutinho is an attacking midfielder. I wouldn't want both Coutinho and Bruno Fernandes. There's that. If we are to play him from the left, then you got even a bit more issue because then you got Rashford, who already plays from there. And a lot of the players we want, everyone wants to play from the left. Martial left, Rashford left. So there's that element, and also the fact that he's Liverpool, ex-Liverpool. Like I'm not saying I would not want a foreign player, but I'm not gonna be trying down the street. Philippe Coutinho, unless he goes and scores, against Liverpool or something like that, just to rub it in their face. But no, I'm not. But
what we have to think about is what if Pogba does not want to be there, and you're getting 30 million and Coutinho, you take it because you're still going to reinvest and buy players. It's not like you're paying for the player. He's probably going to want less wages than Pogba. We're giving you money, and you're getting Philippe Coutinho. I mean, it's a win-win situation. Why wouldn't you take it?
If it was that win-win, you'd keep Coutinho yourself. No, I don't know. Like, we'll get on to Coutinho in a bit. Ramon, Ndombele asked about is that a deal? So that deal that Barca are proposing is Tomato, right back, and Titi is centre back. I don't know if there's any money involved, but it might just be them two to swap for Ndombele. Is that something that Spurs should do? And is that something you could see Mourinho doing?
I actually think it's a great deal for Spurs. I think Doms is a good player. I just don't know how long it will work at Spurs for. Jose already laying him out, and we don't know how long Jose is going to be there for. But the first signs aren't looking ominous. I think he's got my potential. It's just whether or not he can actually fulfill that at Spurs. And is it already time that they depart? Obviously, he's young, bare young, so he's got time to develop. So it's a risk. It's definitely a risk for them to let him go because he could end up being a very, very good centre midfielder. For his age already, he's already up there as one of the best in his age range. So he could end up being one of the best midfielders. So it's a risk. However, with the lack of sort of available right backs to get, and they need, in my opinion, to improve on that. Serge Aurier ain't that guy, and with Vertonghen and Alderweireld coming towards the end of their Spurs career, especially one of them leaving, Vertonghen ain't signed any deal yet, so they could be leaving. very soon, then they need to be replaced. And at the moment, they haven't got the players at the club. Sanchez, and the other young centre back that came through this year looks okay, but he's young. He's young, so it's they need someone now.
No, yeah.
What's that?
Is it Tanganga?
Yeah, Tanganga.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks decent, but he's young, so you know it'll be a risk. They've got Fife as well, but
Yeah.
I think someone like Umtiti can just come in and walk straight into the side, and you can just sort of trust him to just do a job for the rest of the season. I'm not saying he's the best, but you know, I mean, he's got experience, international experience. You know, played many times in Champions League, so he knows what he can do for Spurs. And I think the midfielder role for a young midfielder is replaceable. There's a lot of young midfielders out there that they can replace them Ndombele with. It's just so I actually think it's a deal Spurs will think about. But it looks like Semedo's been offered left, right, and centre, so he gets him first, isn't it?
Well, you have to question how good he is, isn't it? If he's been offered that, because for me, like, I would have Semedo over Roberto as a right back. Carl, is Roberto still the first choice right back, or you got someone else? Why Semedo's not needed?
No, but yeah, I would prefer Semedo at right back over Roberto as well.
I can't work it out. Roberto's a midfielder first, and he doesn't really have the physicality to the right back. Like when you think about Dani Alves was your last right back, but Roberto's not him. Roberto's a very technical kind of player, but your fullbacks need to be energetic up and down. And yeah, Semedo may not be able to pass as much, but he's quicker, he's stronger. I don't know about the crossing in comparison, but I don't see the Roberto thing. I don't know why they keep playing him there anyway. But Titi though, you say obviously Alderweireld, Everton when they replaced him, they've had their own injury issues last few years, but Titi's got his own injury issue. Isn't that correct? I'm sure he's been out for large portions of seasons recently.
Yeah, he was.
He has.
Okay.
Yeah, he's had his fair share of injuries. He does struggle a bit, but you know when he does come back, he's still not favoured. Like he's not first choice centre back. It's still PK. Unfortunately. So yeah, even when he's fit, and when I say fit, not injured, yeah, he's not automatic selection. Hence why they're casting him out. But for me, is that they've signed, but Barca have signed a number of midfielders and a number of forwards, attackers, and route, and now you're offering players, defenders, Semedo, Umtiti, clubs to get more midfielders and forwards. When are we going to start replacing the back line? Because it hasn't had a shake-up, a refresh in a very long time. I mean, it's the same faces making the same mistakes and conceding the same goals each season.
Oh, so we just dropped Carl. But yeah, I think you make a good point that the centre back, the defensive area hasn't gotten as much I don't know, care looked over it in recent years. But then going forward, their midfield and their attack, I would say they made a few signings, but how many of them have actually worked out? Like Pele costs a lot of money. He ain't worked out, if you're being honest, because he's not first choice. For that kind of money, he should be first choice. Coutinho, we're gonna get onto him. He ain't worked out. Griezmann, he's not been great this season. I guess we'll have to, maybe give him another year to see how that all works out. And then in midfield, people are questioning, Frankie De Jong. Who's the other midfielders? There's Rakitic. He's probably going to need replacing. So I think they need to replacements all over the pitch, really and truly.
I think they're going to be chopping and changing. That's Barcelona for you, isn't it? Anytime it doesn't work out, they just chop and change, and they don't really let the players embed or build a time in that role. It's just we'll give you a year. If you're not good enough, we'll change it. We'll get someone else. I think they're, since sort of Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, that era, they've sort of been trying to find that ideal person to sit there for another 10 years or so, and it's never worked. Not had the luxury of bringing someone else in from the youth academy for it working again. So they're trying to spend millions and millions just to replace it. And Frankie De Jong and Arthur could be the guys, but all of a sudden they're already looking at other options. And Dombele, so what, he comes in, then what? I'd one of them to go, move out again, because are you going to let them have a good 3-4 years in that role to see if they're good enough, or is it just straight away chop and change, man? And then, as I said, they're changing they'll be looking to change their back line if they do that. But the cash flow don't sound like this promising at the moment. They're already selling their naming rights for a year, so so it's like, have they got the money to then invest in their backline again after you get rid of a couple of players?
And I think it's because obviously you mentioned Xavi and Iniesta, but for me they had two replacements. And to be fair, I mean, I guess they're both a bit more attacking than Xavi. But in Thiago and Cesc, I know Cesc ain't young. He's 32, 3 years younger than Iniesta, 8 years younger than Xavi, so still sizable. Thiago's 29, so he's got still a number of years ahead. Those two players should be at Barca right now. They should be running that midfield. And for whatever reason, Cesc came back. And somehow they let him go. I don't understand how they let him go. I know the position that he was playing, they're playing just behind the striker. But for me, that would have found a way to try and rotate him to make sure he's getting enough game in the midfield, so that when Xavi and Iniesta go, you have him to carry at least for a couple of years. You got an Arthur. You don't need to be relying from the bank on Arthur carrying the midfield.
It was. I think it was a case of, for Cesc, do you wait for Xavi and Iniesta to go, whenever that may be, or do you go and play your football, really? Like, it was a good. I think that's like his option that he had, because it was a case of they weren't leaving anytime soon. They're still there for another 2-3 years, and he was still playing second fiddle to them. And in a weird way, it kind of worked out for Barca, because with him playing in more of an attacking role, and they got rid of him, it allowed them to play with Neymar, Messi, and Suarez as the guys, after he left, just to do their thing up there without Cesc needing to be involved, or Xavi and Iniesta to be involved. So, it was a case of they couldn't really keep them all. They couldn't just keep them all there happy in the same squad. If they could have, then that would have been ideal. But I think, especially with the way Barcelona is, it's like everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to play first team, and if they're not playing first team, then they're getting out of there,
man. Speaking of, we talk about Neymar, and one of the, I guess, replacements or marquee signing to take the place of Neymar was Coutinho. I know Carl's made his thoughts on Coutinho very clear over the past. Well, actually, to be fair, before he even joined, up to date. Now he's gone on loan to Bayern Munich. He's had a decent little spell there. Ain't been too bad, to be fair. Probably look better at Bayern Munich than he has at Barca. But Bayern Munich aren't willing to pay whatever money. I don't know if they've got I don't know if there's a buyout fee in there, or it's just a fee they have to negotiate. I'm not sure, but they're not willing to buy him on a permanent deal. Barca spent nearly 150 million, I think 140 million for him. So they're gonna want probably. How much was it? About what do you say the value was for him, Carl? Coutinho?
They value him at 85 million.
85 million, which I mean, in the market, you might say it's not massive, but he's been at Barca for 2 years now. Oh, sorry, he's been away from Liverpool anyway for 2 years. And is he still an 85 million pound player? In the sense that is that a risk worth taking to spend that kind of money? Do you know exactly what player you're going to get? Chelsea has been mooted as a possible transfer destination. Of course, we know that they're interested in Jadon Sancho. They've purchased Hakim Ziyech from Ajax for the start of next season, or maybe at the end of this season, depending on how the rules are. But Coutinho to Chelsea, is that realistic? Can you see that one happening? Do they need him, Kyle?
I actually can see it happening. I can, even with the signing of Ziyech. It is a player that they need. It's even a player that Liverpool need, but I know Liverpool aren't willing to spend that kind of money, and they don't really want to re-sign Coutinho because they lack that kind of creativity in midfield. I think, like you said a number of times. But yeah, I think it is a player that Chelsea need. Chelsea, and the reason why I say that, because when they got the transfer ban, and because of how it worked out, they got what's his name, Kovacic from Real Madrid. But as I understand it, Kovacic wasn't a player that they wanted to sign. They got him on loan. He didn't have the best loan spell, but they only signed him because they knew they weren't going to be able to sign him because of the transfer ban. So they signed him basically just on goodwill, just to fill the squad, because they weren't going to get him. If they were able to re-sign him back on loan, say, oh, can we have him for another season on loan, they would have taken that deal. But Real Madrid didn't want that. And for me personally, I don't think he's quite worked out. Kante's a brilliant player.
Well, if you speak to Chelsea fans this year, last season they weren't sold on him. This year they say he's been their best player. Yeah, they all say Kovacic has actually been the best player. I don't know if it's because of the whole Sarri thing, why it was like anyone Sarri brings in, we just don't want. Like Jorginho, they didn't rate. Kovacic, they didn't rate. Obviously, Higuain didn't work out. But this year, speak to them this year, they're like, yeah, Kovacic, best player, talking about he should be in team of the year, that kind of stuff, you know. So, yeah, Chelsea fans are rating him now.
Maybe so, but still coming from Chelsea fans, they all tell you how that when what's his name back from injury, the youngster, what's his name, the attacking midfielder,
Pulisic.
No, not
Antonio?
No, the English player.
Mason Mount? Attacking midfield?
His name's left my head.
Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, Loftus-Cheek. They rate Loftus-Cheek as the next best thing. And when he's back from injury, he should go straight into the first team. The fact that you're calling for players like Loftus-Cheek to be in the first team, and you're playing players like Mason Mount, is evidence enough that someone like Coutinho is needed in your team, because he's leaps and bounds better than all of those players combined. He's better than Mount, he's better than Loftus-Cheek, better than Jorginho, better than Kovacic. So yeah, it's a player that they would need. If they were to play their 4-2-3-1 system, I mean, he would be perfect behind the striker, sitting behind Tammy, him and Tammy doing the damage. You got Pulisic coming off one side, and maybe Ziyech coming off the other side. That would be a brilliant team. So yeah, I think it's a play that they could utilize, and I do see that, you know, they have the potential and the capacity to sign him. So I don't see why not.
Carl, you're clutching. You're clutching so hard to get rid of this brother. You're clutching so hard to get rid of this brother. Like, okay, yeah, technically, yeah, he's better than all them players, cool. But there's no way Chelsea are paying £85 million. Frank Lampard, £85 million on Coutinho. There's absolutely, I cannot see that happening. After they just bought Ziyech. I think they got, as I said, they got Pulisic, they got Mason Mount and Loftus-Cheek. Who the way Lampard talks, they ain't getting nowhere. So the way he's been playing the players, he's trying to bring them through. I cannot see him bringing in 85 million pounds.
Is he trying to bring them through, or has he been forced because of the transfer ban? If there was no transfer ban, maybe Tammy, Mount, etc. wouldn't be in the team. Is that a possibility? I don't know.
It's a bit of both. I think he knows how it is to be a young English player coming through at a club. If it wasn't him in charge, I can understand it, and I know it's not all down to him because there's people above him that make decisions as well. But I think if it wasn't him in charge, then I can understand maybe it being more likely. But as I said, with him being an Englishman coming through, knowing how difficult it is, I think he's trying to do kind of like what Southgate's doing with England, kind of just try to see if this works, see if the new generations work. The way he talks about Gilmore, like all these players that he mentions, despite him bringing in players around them to help them, I think that's what it will be. I think it will be not necessarily to replace them, but more to help them help their game develop. By bringing these players in. I don't feel like Coutinho will be that guy that I can that necessarily help them in that stage. He's got the quality, but it'd be more of a replacement and that will hinder them rather than help their progress.
And right. And too right. They had a whole season to prove what they had, and they ain't got it. They absolutely ain't got it. They're only in the position that they are, not because they were top 4 quality, but all the teams around them, Man United, Arsenal, Spurs, trash. You've said it before in the past. Everyone has just been trash. Chelsea haven't been good. They haven't been spectacular. They haven't even been decent. It's just that everyone else has been even poorer. You've got Leicester sitting in 3rd place, my friend. Leicester City. Come on, man. It's been a horrific season. They ain't got it. And if everyone signs players, Man United's got Bruno Fernandes now, and they go on someone and sign a couple more players, and Spurs strengthen, Arsenal strengthen, and you're telling me Lampard's going to sit and rely on these youth and youngsters to do a job. They end up finishing 8th, 9th, my friend. I'm telling you, they'll end up finishing 8th, 9th.
I'm not saying he's going to just rely on them, but I'm saying he's not going to spend £85 million on one player to help them get to where they are.
No, and I tell you why they will, because Chelsea bought Alvaro Morata for 80 million, so they spent 85 million on Coutinho.
I think it's because look at Ziyech. Ziyech, they signed 45 million. He's a winger, but everyone was saying Callum Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic. So I mean, it shows that if he sees, and Ziyech ain't young. I think Ziyech must be about. I mean, he's not old, to be fair. But
27.
27.
27.
Yeah, 27. So he's in his prime, but he's not like, oh, I want to, improve this person and bring them through. I think if the player's available, now obviously the money has to be right, but if a better player's available, I can't see Lampard. Because this is a dog-eat-dog world. I know, yeah, Lampard might feel that he got a bit more time, youngsters and youth and all that kind of English, but if things ain't going right, Abramovich will chop his neck off. Like, he will say, wait, we're trying to get Champions League football. Nah, you're out. You're out. Like, it would happen. So it has to be a balance in that. But maybe, the 2 deals we spoke about earlier, Martinez and Ndombele, both of them were players included. Kyle, are there any Chelsea players, for think of one, that you think you would take as a part of a, swap deal with money for Coutinho, or just a straight
one and one only, and that's N'Golo Kante.
Kepa.
No. N'Golo Kante, man. Kante and only Kante. No one else in that team.
Is there anyone? Well, not Willian. You lot tried to buy him a couple of years ago. I know he's a free transfer.
They need to stop that Willian talk. Honestly, honest to God.
50 million, isn't it? A couple of seasons ago.
It was.
Big. Ramon, is there any players Chelsea could offer to
not ones that I think they want to offer, really.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the thing. And yeah, I guess it depends what Barca need. Is kind of trying to balance that. Do you want Aspilicueta as your new right back? With Reece James coming through, could be an option. Or one of the young centre backs.
He's probably better than Roberto, even at his age.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. One of the centre backs, Zuma, Christensen, you need one of them. But yeah, N'Golo is really the only one that should really be getting in that Barca team straight, like as a walk-in, really. But yeah, it will need a magnificent. I can see Chelsea selling Kante, but it will need a big offer, man. I don't know what it will take. Coutinho and then some.
Boy, so how much do you think Kante's worth?
I don't know. It's not about how much he's worth. It's about how much Chelsea want for him.
So is he an £85 million player?
well, if Coutinho is 85 and Golo is a lot more than 85, yeah, you're looking at. I mean, for
The
me,
thing,
he's the best. He's the best. Centre mid, defensive mid in the world. So you're
yeah,
looking at another.
it's a type of player. Now, granted, to be fair, things have changed because then I guess Van Dijk went for 75 million, Maguire went for 80. So it's like I guess people are putting value on player ahead of position. But how it used to be is like the attacking players would go for a lot of money, and defensive players wouldn't really cost that much. So maybe it's worth.
He's probably pushing to like 150 now, man. These days, man. But I mean, that's what's happening these days, man. When you're the best, when you become the best in the world in your position, 100 mil is minimum for you these days, man.
All right, Kat, he's 29 years old. Would you pay 150 million for $1?
I wouldn't. But I mean, I wouldn't spend 85 million pound on Coutinho.
I want to talk about Aubameyang. So there's been talk about Aubameyang going to Chelsea. Actually, he's got 1 year left on his deal. But there was I saw some little Instagram post from his dad. I think it was. It might hint that he was gonna sign it, or his dad was trying to convince him to sign a contract. I don't know. Could you see him going Chelsea?
I can't see him going Chelsea, to be honest, but didn't see a lot of other things happen in the past from Arsenal. But yeah, I think out of all the ones that in the past, this will be the most sort of strange decision to go Chelsea. Especially, then Giroud's about to sign a 1 year deal, wasn't he? At Chelsea as well. I think they got their striker sealed for another year. The striker that we got rid of for them for Aubameyang to come in. I can't see us send to Chelsea, but I can see him going. To be fair, I can see him going. It all depends on when the transfer window actually happens and stuff, and where things lie. But if Arsenal aren't in Europe next year, in any aspect, I just feel like he hasn't got long left to win any sort of big major trophies. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes elsewhere. I can't see him staying in the Premier League. I'd like him to sign, but I don't understand why he would personally.
Kyle, do you think he could go Chelsea, or maybe would you take him at Barca? I know you don't want any more attacking players, but I mean, he's probably better than Griezmann.
He's too old, man. Guys say me to Suarez, man. Like, he's too old, man. Yeah. Can I see him going Chelsea? No. The reason why, because Chelsea would have spent heavy on Coutinho. So no, I can't see him going Chelsea.
Because I tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me. Lampard's spoken about the lack of goals that his team has had. He's said it, and I think we all thought. Well, they did go in for what striker did they go in for in January?
Wasn't it?
They went in for Igalo in January. Or was that just Spurs? I can't remember now.
No, wasn't it? Wasn't it? The guy that went to Borussia Dortmund.
Did they go to Holland? I don't know if they did.
No, I think it was serious.
Definitely a striker they went in for in January, and I just can't remember who it was. Because anyway, I know there was a lot of talk about them getting a striker because he kept mentioning we need a striker, we need goals, we're not getting enough goals. And the transfer window obviously opened, but they didn't get one, and everyone was kind of surprised. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went in for a striker in the summer. Which striker that is, I don't know. But, Aubameyang is 31 years old, but he's Premier League proven. So you're gonna get, I would say, three solid years as a striker out of him, and you don't have to think about bedding in. Just look at even how he came from Dortmund to Arsenal, and he just started banging straight away. You don't need to worry about any bedding in. So if they were to make him maybe their marquee signing, so maybe not Coutinho, but him, and some money on someone who's a bit older, everything else is going to be youth related. I can see that going because I don't, Tammy Abraham is a good striker, but I think that's as far as it goes. I can't see him being world class. I can't see him leading Chelsea to a major trophy in that respect. And Lampard's spoken about goals a lot. Is what they've got at the moment, Pulisic, Ziyech, even if they would get Coutinho, is that enough goals in your team? I don't know. Coutinho's not a prolific goal scorer. He's not. He can maybe get you 10 in the league. Number of assists, 10 assists maybe. But I still feel that they might be lacking in goals in that respect. So that, it could happen. It wouldn't be the first time Arsenal's lost players to rivals. But it'll be interesting. Barcelona, could I see him going abroad? Where? Real Madrid? Maybe Real Madrid. Real Madrid might be not a bad shout as a striker. I know they've got Jovic, but he doesn't seem to be much in favour. Benzema's getting a bit older as well. I mean, the man's not young himself. But maybe their attention might be turned on the likes of Mbappe and others. But yeah, it would surprise me if Aubameyang signed a new contract at this moment. Maybe if he got into, Champions League's a bit far off. If you got into Europa, maybe he might sign like a 2-year deal or an additional year. I don't know. But I guess you pay him right, like you paid Ozil, 300,000 a week. Maybe he'll fine. Would you give him 300,000 a week to stay?
Yeah, definitely. I'll pay him myself. Can't replace. The thing is, if he goes, you can't. It's not easy. It's not easily replaced. If you look at what we got for him, it's still in the end for us, position that we're in with other clubs around. So we sell him, and we're in big trouble in terms of replacing those goals in our team. So it's not easy. So yeah, I'll definitely pay him the money to keep him.
Finally, I just want to touch on Timo Werner. Now, it's come out that he wants to join Liverpool in the summer. His release clause is 50 million euros, I believe it is. Could be pounds, but 50 million anyway, something. But the talk is that Liverpool aren't planning on putting a bid in before the release clause expires, which is on July the 31st, I believe it is. So
I guess sooner.
It's sooner than that. So does that mean that they value him at less? So they think, well, we can get him for less than that? I don't know. Where does he fit in, and who misses out, if anyone? Well, I guess someone has to miss out. But yeah, where does he fit into Liverpool's team if they are to get him?
Replacing Shaqiri's place on the bench. No. In all honesty, it's the goal. Because listen, and listen to me good. Mane and Salah aren't ever getting dropped. The only time they're getting dropped, and it's not even dropped, is when they're injured. If they're injured, then they can't play. Fair enough. But them two are playing. The only other position that is up for grabs is Firmino's. Now, I don't know if it was true, but I read somewhere that Klopp said that Timo Werner is good enough to replace Firmino in the side. Now, I don't know if that's true, if he actually said that. But if he did, I think that makes the Liverpool team worse. And I'll tell you why. Because he is a more traditional out-and-out striker than Firmino is. Firmino is more of a false nine. And because Liverpool lack that creativity through the middle of the park from their central midfielders, that has become Firmino's job. Firmino is very much that player. He literally, he probably doesn't, he doesn't even play striker. He plays pretty much second striker to Mane and Salah. And his job is to support them two. If Timo's in the team, he joins that triangular front three. And now all three of those players, Timo, Mane, and Salah, will be expecting a certain level of service from the players behind them, which is Henderson, Wijnaldum, Naby Keita, Fabinho, etc. I don't know if they've got that in them to supply it to them, where how Firmino was doing it, because Firmino is doing a fantastic job, and obviously you've got the width from their fullbacks, which will always
looking at Timo Werner's goal record. I guess you don't break if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But do Salah and Mane start being more creators than goal scorers for Timo Werner? In the sense, you say he makes them work, but that's if he makes them worse if they're playing the exact same style. But if they say, well, we've got front three now, so Werner's our striker, we need to be feeding him more than shooting as much as you were before. Is that worse? Like, can Timo Werner get more goals than Mane, for example? I don't know. His records is very good.
See, the thing is, it would have to be, it would because Liverpool didn't get this good overnight. Klopp had to drill this into them. So if they were to sign Timo, and the intention was to make him first choice or Firmino, induct him into the team, like proper embed him in, they're going to have to play a different style of football. And that means having to retrain and relearn certain things. And some players are just naturally selfish, and Salah's one of those players. Is he capable of becoming more of a creator? I genuinely can't see it. That's like asking, Cristiano Ronaldo to be more of a serviceman. Like it's never gonna happen. And I see the same way in Salah. Salah's a very greedy. I'm not saying he's wrong for being greedy, because that's just the nature of some players. It's through the history of time, you're always going to get greedy players. But if they have the quality to back it, fair play. Salah has the quality to back his selfishness. Mane, he's not so much a selfish player. He can do the work. He can be an out-and-out winger. He can get down the byline and put in a cross for Timo. That's not a problem. Salah, he's left-footed. He's always going to look to cut inside and take a shot. He's not going to cut inside and slip a through ball in. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. So I don't know, man. It would have to be something drastic, like change of formation where you're playing a 4-2-4.
Well, what I was going to say is that in terms of change in the way that Klopp plays, that obviously the way that Klopp plays is similar to how he did at Dortmund, but it's not exactly the same because they never had a Trent type player for Borussia Dortmund. So I know, yes, it's taken a couple of years, but remember, Nathaniel Klein was there first, and maybe through injury, to be fair, Trent got the position, and he kind of changed the way they were playing to really just a lot of their creativity or playmaking comes from the wide positions. That's not how we played at Dortmund. So yeah, to be fair, it might take a summer pre-season or a bit longer, a few months to embed it. But changing formation or tactics is not. Beside Klopp, who's done it before, I think he could do it again if he feels that the whole team will be better. One suggestion, Ramon, that's been made is 4-2-3-1 with Firmino playing behind Timo Werner. So he will be the creativity from the midfield, you might say.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it'll be a great signing, to be fair. He's a great age. He's going to be Germany's sort of main guy for the next few years or so. And I think he's probably ready for a club to step up to start challenging for titles and winning trophies. So I think it meets his ambition. And I think Liverpool need to make sure that they are improving their squad going forward. Every year goes by, every player gets older. And I think Salah, Mane and Firmino are probably all in their current peak. If like, how many years have they got being at that level, being that good? So I think you have to start looking forward. I think he's someone that you buy to start. They bought Minamino in January. You kind of see him being the side man to come in and get a few games here and there. But Timo Werner is going to be a guy you need to start, like put him in the team and just build with him. And I think Firmino can work in a number 10, but it's about how it works. Because his natural instinct is going to be as a striker, so he's going to have to now work harder in the middle of the park and unless you're going to have him as the sort of Ozil type quality player. You kind of leave him to do his thing and doesn't have to work hard. Then it means that they've lost the body in the middle of the park.
Well, that
and
takes
they have-
away from me his probably one of his strongest attributes, which is the pressing and the energy that he gives. I would never have him as a luxury kind of player.
Yeah, but it's, in the number 10, you have to, like, it depends on how you use a number 10.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
that's number 10s because Oscar, for example, is a different number 10 to Mata.
yeah. So but it's about how because you've lost the body in the middle of the park. So you the two in the middle, whoever it is, Fabinho, Henderson, Keita, whatever, have to now adjust their game a bit to that as well. So it's going to take a big adjustment for it to work. I don't think he will go there. I think it will be a swap between them both. I think it'd be a rotation thing. Maybe he's doing the pep thing. Like, I want a world class player, 2 world class players in their position. Like, let's go, let's do this thing now. Let's run Europe, let's run England, let's do it. Like maybe he's on that. It's on that. 1 minute it's a playing Manchester United and Werner's playing, and the next week is Man City and Firmino's playing. It's like, yeah, we're on this thing. Both of them playing. I think it's not always just about just having an 11 players, and I think Liverpool have got lucky that the fact that these guys have been fit all season, because if Salah's out for 6 months and Minamino comes in, it's not going to be the same thing. So they need to be ready that at any point this could just drop and man have to be ready to come in.
I think Werner signing will be good because what you said, you got the 3, which is the main 3. I don't think you want 6 because you have to be rotating constantly, and you can't do that. Even City, yeah, they've got, I must say 2 very position, but Jesus don't play like regularly unless Aguero's injured. He might play. Not the Premier League. Aguero's the main guy. Jesus come off the bench, and then like this season,
Jesus played in the Premier League against Real Madrid, didn't he? Bench.
But is Timo Werner just coming in just to play Champions League? Like, if you can't have 6 players who want to start. This season, Sane's been out, so Sterling's been there. Last season, Mahrez was out, but Mahrez is in this year because of different injuries for different players. Whatever. Silva's getting older, so you got Bernardo Silva. But I think if you got those 3 at Liverpool, and you got in Timo Werner and you got Minamino, I think that's perfect because taking out, 1 week you might take out Mane and you bring in Werner. Because Werner for me can play across the front 3. 1 week you take out Mane, bring in a Werner. Next week you bring Mane back. Then you take out Firmino and bring in Werner. And then you rest Werner. And then you take out Salah and bring in, So I think, over, say, a course of, say, 4 games, everyone will play 3 out of those 4 because of the versatility of Werner. If you were to bring in just a striker, for example, who just can only play through the middle, then yeah, it's just between him and Firmino. Or you just bring in a winger, then it's between him and whoever the winger, whatever side he's playing on. I think he brings a bit of versatility across that front line. And yeah, Minamino, he's calm to be on the bench, isn't it? He don't mind playing FA Cup and League Cup and them kind of games there. So it's not come up, look at Premier League Wolves, a midweek double game week, and you need to rotate the team. I think Werner would be a good signing. 24 years old, he might be content with first season not being first choice, and then being first choice after that. Firmino is 29 this year. 29. So at the start of not next season, the season after, he will be touching 30.
Depending on when that season starts.
Yeah, depending on when that. Well, if at least 30, he might be over 30 if it's delayed. So there may be more. He may accept more to have a bit more rotation. Salah and Mane about 28, they're going to be 29 next year, etc. Timo Werner 25, 24. 1 year on the bench as a backup, I think is cool. It's a much bigger club than Leipzig to Liverpool. So I think you have to accept. You can't just think, yeah, I'm going to join. I'm going to be first choice. That's a bit unrealistic. But I don't know what Liverpool's playing at in the sense that they're saying they're not planning on making a bid before the. So I'm like 50 million. That's a snip in this market. That is a snip. I will take that all day long, But we got Rashford and Martial, so we don't need. No, I'll take him. But our aim for me is Sancho anyway. Yeah. So that's that. So if there's one player, I know we already spoken about Arsenal's purchasing play. We talked about the possibility of Barcelona leaving. But if there's one player that you want Arsenal to sign, whenever the transfer window is, who would that be?
Party. Let's have a party.
Yeah, we could have on that. So there's been some interesting Instagram posts. I think it was from his dad?
Yeah, something like that.
About Arsenal in contact with Partey. But then I think Atletico Madrid kind of said, no, we're not in discussions. But everyone's keeping their cards close to the chest. But yeah, you will take Partey. But you got Torreira. What are you talking about? We need Partey.
Yeah, Torreira and Partey, innit? See you later, Jax. Nice to see you. It's hard again. It's that whole thing of he's in the Champions League now, still in the Champions League at the moment. But is he gonna be happy to take a step down and play it? But apparently in Ghana, them man are holding tight that they love Arsenal out there, and they want him to go to. Ghana man are trying to get him to go Arsenal. So I think they've always had a thing of in Spain, them not playing in Spain. They've never really wanted him to be in Spain. And so whenever there's a rumor of him leaving, I think there's always the Ghana man have to jump on that. But yeah, it's getting stronger and stronger. The rumors every week. So I'll take him, man. Him Upamecano, a big one as well. But from what I'm hearing in the club, that Mari's probably going to be the one that they sign. The loan signing of Mari we got in January. They're probably going to make that permanent in the summer. With Saliba coming in as well from Saint Etienne, I think I don't see us bringing in another centre back as well. So yeah, man, Thomas Partey for me.
Kyle, there's one player Barca can sign. I mean, I guess you're going to say what you said earlier, but yeah, one player Barca can sign this summer. Who would that be?
Neymar.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Pogba, but fair enough. Bring back what, MSN, or is Griezmann taking that place?
Bring back MSN, the greatest front three in club football history.
Fair enough. I mean, if Neymar wins Champions League with PSG, if this season ever completes, I could see him say, "Yeah, done my job. All right, I'm going back to Barca." Possibly, I could see it happening.
And if he doesn't, I can see the whole PSG front line busting up. Mbappe once out, Neymar back to Barcelona. Oh, this team is dead, man. Rubbish. Got that out of business. Let me go link back up with Messi. Real players, some real football players.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, for me, that's Sancho. Obviously, you need that right winger, and he needs us. He might not know it, but he needs us.